So we are here and we can continue with the next presentation. Our next presenter is Piotr Płoński, who would like to show you a good tool that helps you to present your analysis to your business clients. And the Mercury can create a web application from your notebook to convert your results into more meaningful insights for the non-technical stakeholders. So Piotr, please take over the screen and show us this fantastic tool.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, let me share the screen. So I would like to show you the tool for converting Python notebooks into interactive web apps. And I would like to tell a few words about myself. And I have dual experience from academia and industry. And in academia, during my PhD studies, I was helping researchers from different domains to analyze their data. I was helping physicists to analyze images from neutrino detectors. I was helping medicine doctors to understand images from magnetic resonance. And it was very, very interesting project because in this project, not the accuracy of the final classifier was the most important, but the goal of the project was to find the most important features in the machine learning pipeline. And those features were responsible for a disease. And I was also working with bioinformatics. I was helping them to understand the evolution of influenza virus. I was building phylogenetic trees, some kind of hierarchical clusters of RNA strains to understand the evolution of the virus. And I also work in industry. I started my career as a software engineer, building software for warehouse appliances. Then I turned it to data scientist role, and I was working in many different projects like speech analysis. I was building a system for keyword search in a set of recordings. I was involved in projects for churn prediction, predictive dialing, or inventory management, to name just a few. And I like to have job done and not work too hard, but it doesn't mean that I'm lazy. I just like to use the proper tools for the job. And somehow I found myself working on data science tools. And in 2016, I founded a company that is called MLJAR. And at the beginning, the company was working on a web service for automated machine learning. But I shut down this web service in 2019 because the competition from big cloud vendors with their solutions was very, very high. And I turned this web service into open source package. And in fact, I rewrite the whole solution. And right now, this AutoML solution, it has very nice features like it can do advanced feature engineering. For example, it can automatically generate new features based on your data. It can do feature preprocessing, feature selection. What is nice about this package is that it can train many different machine learning pipelines. And for each pipeline, it construct the documentation in the Markdown file. So after the training, you have set of documents, and each document is describing the pipeline. And in this document, Markdown document, you have information about hyperparameters, validation strategy, different metrics values, And also you have a lot of explanations about your model. So for example, we produce SHAP explanations, and for decision trees, we extract text rules. So you can easily, for example, implement decision tree in other language other than Python. And this package has very simple API because you have fit and predict methods. So very simple. The next project that I was working is a blocks, and it is open source Python package for creating dashboards in the notebooks. So, you know, usually you have some information to display in the notebook. So you usually display it with print, and you have, you know, boring one line of number or text. And with blocks, you can put it into nice looking blocks, and you can create some kind of dashboards, and, you know, make your findings more attractive. And the latest project is Mercury, and it's a project for converting Python notebooks into web apps. And what is the problem that Mercury is solving? So, you know, you made some effort and spent some nights to create some analysis. You have, you know, very important findings, but you need to share them to make them meaningful, because if you do not share your results, then they are useless. And sharing notebooks can be pretty hard. What are the ways to share the notebook? So the most simple way is to share the source file of the notebook, and it is a good solution, but only if you share with other Python programmers, because the other people that will use your notebook, they need to have the Python installed on their machine. They need to have the same packages as you. Very often they need to have the same hardware as you, because if you are using GPU, then they should use GPU as well. And they need to know Python programming language, and they should have access to the same data. So, you know, it is not the option for sharing with non-technical users, because, you know, they will not know what to do with the notebook. So to share with non-technical users, non-programmers, you can create a presentation. It is a good solution for them because, you know, everyone know how to open a presentation, but creating the presentation might be hard and boring, because you need to copy paste all your plots and all your results into the presentation, and, you know, you cannot code the presentation. And if you change something in the analysis, for example, you have a new plot, then you need to update the presentation. So it's not very good solution. And what is more, you cannot make the presentation dynamic. So, you know, your users cannot see the presentation and interact with the presentation. To make your findings, your results more interactive, you can rewrite your findings into some web framework. And, you know, it requires a lot of work, because in fact you need to write new application. So hopefully there are some easy to use web frameworks. So you don't need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but you can create user interface in Python, but still you need to rewrite everything and create the new application. And that's how I come up with the idea of Mercury, of the idea of converting an easy way of converting your notebook in a web app or dashboard or slides or REST API, you know, without changing the notebook. And it can be easily done with YML configuration that is added at the top of the notebook. And you know, based on the YML, the interactive the user interface is generated, and user can interact with your web app. And in fact, those slides are also done with Mercury. So for example, I have a Hello Budapest slide, and the greetings text is the variable, because the whole presentation was done in Jupyter Notebook, and I can change the greetings text and click the run button, and the whole presentation will be recomputed, and the new slides are served from Mercury. And you know, you can navigate through the slides, and all slides are with new value. And the YML configuration is pretty simple. You define the title of the application, description. You have also some parameters. For example, you can easily hide the code of the notebook, and then you have a list of widgets that you would like to add to the notebook. And the important thing is that your widget name, for example, year and greetings, they need to be the same as the variables in the code in the notebook, and all your variables should be in the one cell. And that's all. And based on this, Mercury can serve a web application for you. And currently we have 6 types of widgets. We have text widget, select widget, slider widget, file widget. And you know, file widget is pretty easy to use, and you know, you can imagine that you can create a lot of application where user upload a data file, and the notebook is doing the analysis and displaying the results. We have numeric widget and checkbox widget. And as you see, you know, defining the widget is 5 lines of code, something like that. And here is a running demo of very simple applications. So on the left, you have sidebar with few widgets that the user can change widget values, click the run, and the notebook with new values is executed in the background, and the final result is displayed to the user. And few words about the architecture. We can distinguish 2 main actions that can be done with Mercury. The first action is when the admin adds a new notebook to the Mercury, and what is happening in the with the notebook when it is added. We're using nbconvert tool to convert notebook into HTML file, and we have some parser that is extracting information about widgets, about title, and so on, and saving this into the database. And then the next action is when user open a notebook and would like to run it. We have frontend created in React and Redux, and frontend consists of sidebar with widgets and the main view where the notebook is displayed. In the sidebar, user can interact with widgets, change their values. When he's ready, he clicks run, and the JSON request is constructed with widgets values and notebook ID. The request is sent to the Django server. Django server creates a background task in Celery, and in this task, the values of widgets are injected into the notebook, and the new notebook with new values is executed with nbconvert tool, and the final HTML file from execution is sent to the front end and displayed to the end user. And so, you know, The Mercury is some kind of NB convert as a service tool, yes, that anyone can deploy. And the deployment is very easy because the architecture is based on Django. So you can deploy it anywhere, almost anywhere where the Python is available. And we provide some steps for deployment for Heroku and Hugging Face, and the deployment to Heroku and Hugging Face spaces is very simple, because you just provide one configuration file, and it can be deployed, with a single command. You can see the demo running in the Hugging Face at the bottom of the slide. And for other cloud providers, we do provide Docker Compose. So also it can be deployed with one command. Very simple. Some features of the Mercury. First of all, it can serve many notebooks on the same server. So there is built-in app gallery. So you can have multiple notebooks and multiple users at the same time, and it will work even on a small machine. So this presentation is running on a Heroku free dyno. Next feature is that you can execute the notebook with your parameters and download the final notebook as a single HTML file. And I hope that in the future we will also provide the option to download as a PDF file. And the next nice thing about Mercury is that you can easily add authentication to your notebooks, so only authenticated users can see your notebook. And it is really simple, because it can be done with adding one line of code. You add share private, and only authenticated users will be able to see your application created from notebook. What is more, you can share with only selected users or group of users. And if you would like to share with selected users, then you define share and specify the list with usernames or group names. So very simple to add authentication to the notebook. And if you compare this to making, I don't know, some Flask-based web application, and creating everything from scratch, then it is huge time saver for data scientists. Yeah, so it is very easy to embed the notebook, the application made from notebook, on any website. So for example, I even embed the notebook here in the slide. So this is some application that I can run inside the slide, and I need to wait a while, and we'll have the new notebook displayed, as you see. And embedding the notebook is very simple. You just define the iframe and pass the URL to the application. Super simple. Okay, the demo time. So as I said, that the whole application is a demo. The whole presentation is a demo, but I will show you the very simple notebook. Okay, so this is very simple notebook with two variables, name and year, and we have name widget with type which is text. We have default value Piotr. We have label, please provide your name. And you see here is this widget. And we have widget here, which is slider. And we have default value 2022. We have minimum, maximum label. And I can change the values and click run. And in the background, the new notebook is constructed. Values from widgets are injected into the notebook, and the whole notebook is executed. Okay, and as you see here, we have show code true. So you can see the code of the notebook here, and I have the same application but with different parameter for showing the code. And you only see the output, and again you can change values, execute it, and you will see only the new output. And end user cannot access the code that is inside the notebook if you select show code false. Okay, final slides. Okay, and future development. So I would love to add scheduling, notebook scheduling, so the user will be able to define time intervals at which notebooks will be executed, and you can set the list of emails that with users that should receive the executed notebook. The next feature will be creating REST API from notebooks. This also should be pretty helpful because you don't need to rewrite your notebook into some web framework. You just I don't know, for example, define the machine learning model and convert it to REST API, and it should be pretty simple and very similar to creating web apps, just defining the YML configuration. And I would love to in some future add an option to export notebooks apps as standalone apps created with HTML and PyScript. So you will not need any backend server for computing everything, so everything will be computed on client side. But I think we need to wait some time, to have PyScript more mature. Okay, here you have my contact information, my website, my GitHub, and email. And thank you, and I'm open to questions.
Okay, Piotr, thank you for the introduction to Mercury. I think it has been really useful. So if I think back a few years back, notebooks have been celebrated as the ultimate tool for sharing results. And then we had to find that they are not perfect, maybe between developers, but the business audience, they are really not suitable. And we need something like this that you have shown here. I would like to ask you, in the name of the whole audience, that what is your experience? How much time is needed for a novice user to learn this Mercury framework completely? It seems to me that it's very simple altogether. What is your estimation?
2 hours, something like that, because you have just few parameters that you are using in YML configuration, and even if you do something wrong, let's say, then Mercury will serve some web app for you. So it is hard to break the web app done with Mercury. And yeah, so I think it should be pretty simple. And the idea of this YML configuration is also very similar to R Markdown. So I think that many R users will find this easy to use because they are familiar with R Markdown syntax.
Yeah, likely. Yeah. It was my feeling that it's good that you have reinforce that. Another thing is that you have talked about the authentication. I feel that that is also very important in a corporate environment, so that who can see the results and what sort of results. You know, I am not an expert, just asking that, does it mean that these notebooks can cooperate, let's say, with Windows Active Directory, so such sort of advanced authentication systems that are present many open at companies, or so what are the possibilities here?
So, you know, everything is based on Django. So possibilities are endless. Okay, so right now the authentication that is available in Mercury is, let's say, standard authentication that you will see in some web services. But I think it can be easily integrated with some much complex authentication systems, and you know, it is based on Django, so you can extend this as you want. But at the same time, the syntax for YML will be the same. You will just write share private, and it will be private only for authenticated users.
Okay, then it means that we need just a very little Django competence within the company, and then everything can go fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I see. Okay, as I see, there are no more questions, so thank you for your presentation again.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you for your presentation, Piotr. We need to another break. I can start at 14:40. So yeah, so let's have a short break and then see you again in a few minutes.